Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, I have the 1:5.5 scale figure of Midori and Pink by Native. Let's take a look. This pair of figures are from the Native's Creators Collection, which features original characters from various artists, most of which are on the rather raunchy side. Midori and Pink are illustrated by the artist Poyoyon Rock, also known as Watanabe Akio, who also did some of the characters from the Monogatari series. If you follow his Twitter, he's got quite a number of posts of characters in the classic Japanese blue swimsuit, which this pair of figures also features. It is really such a timeless design, and that got me to hit the pre-order button for this one. In addition, I really like the diorama setting of this figure. First up, let's take a look at the box. Midori is green in Japanese, hence the box for Midori and Pink is literally half green, half pink. And I love the concept and how vibrant these colors are. There are also patterns of school stationery and gym equipment expressing what this figure is about. There are no window panels on this box, which is typical of most raunchy figures. There is only a silhouette of the figures on this box, adding to the mysterious charm that stirs curiosity on what's inside. From the box, there is a blister package of the figures and an instruction manual, as well as a postcard of the illustration. Inside, the patterns are repeated, although I don't get why one side of the box is so plain. As for the bonus postcard, I usually store them all together in an album to flip through. Next, we have the instructions menu, which I think I'm gonna need. Look at all the steps. It comes in both Japanese and English translation, making it friendly for me. This figure comes with 3 blister packages, one for the figures, another for the accessories, and the last for the base. Let's open up the base first. As you can see, the base is a simple matte black, large circular shape to hold the diorama setup. Behind, there are just some frames to support the base. And on the base, there is a white volleyball with a peg to support Midori. Next, let's take a look at the accessories. First, we have a crumpled school uniform skirt, which is very well sculpted and has very nice shading. This goes onto the floor of the base. There is also a water gun, which I really love. It looks like a toy water gun, which I used to play with as a kid. Next, we have what I think is a bloomer shorts, also sculpted nicely with wrinkles and good shading, just like the skirt. There is also a drawstring bag, which is quite detailed, with the folds of the fabric sculpted at the top of the bag. Lastly, there is this gymnastic equipment which I don't know what it's called. It supports both Midori and Pink. It is quite accurate to what I see in the anime, with nice colors and shading. And you can also take the different tiers apart. Now, let's take Midori and Pink out. First up is Midori. There is quite a lot of plastic protection on her, and some of which requires the hand, as well as her head to be detached. Like Nandroids, I find this very stressful. Next, we have Pink, and she had to be totally taken apart to remove the plastic. I hated doing this. I intended to display them with the swimsuits, so had no reason to take everything apart. Oh wells. This allowed me to take some shots of the castoff version. Maybe I'll post the NSFW version of this video somewhere, someday, maybe when I hit 1000 subs. Well, since I took everything apart, here are the various components, starting with Midori's head. Next, we have Midori's shirt, which is very dynamic looking. And there is this body sculpt with the swimsuit. The alternative body sculpt is the castoff version. These are Midori's hands, which are attached to the sleeves. And here are her legs with the shoes. One of her shoes has a hole that goes into the pack on the volleyball. Next is Pink, and here is her head, which is detachable. Her twin tails had to be detached, and they feel really fragile, so be careful when handling them. Here is Pink shirt, which is nicely sculpted and shaded. And here is the body with the swimsuit. There is also a cast-off version. Next are her hands and sleeves, and one of the hands must be detached to put on the twin tails. So this is assembled last. And finally, here are her legs. These are all the various components of this figure. Now let's assemble the figure. I learned that it is quite important to set up the base in roughly the correct position first. So check the promo pictures on how it's done. You should assemble Midori first, using the body sculpt of your preference. I prefer the swimsuit version. Note that there are different shapes for the hand and leg joints corresponding to the correct hand and legs. Here is one of Midori's legs, where the socks and shoes are nicely detailed. You should attach Midori's legs first and take note of the shape of the joints. It should fit in quite nicely. Here is Midori's other leg, and just like the first one, you take note of the joint patterns and attach it on. It should also fit in nicely. Next, we have Midori's shirt, which has holes to allow the joints on her sleeves to go through to attach to the body. You simply put the shirt on as such. Here is one of Midori's hands, which I find is beautifully sculpted. You attach it after you put on the shirt, as such. Next is the other hand, where I have already attached the water gun, because I did not want to take it out, since it is actually quite difficult to put on. The handle of the gun can be taken apart to slide into Midori's hands like so. However, the bottom piece is quite difficult to slot in. To be honest, I'm not sure if I got it right anyway. And lastly, here is Midori's head. You simply put her head on, but be careful of the hand which is near the goggles. I realized I should have pushed the hand down before putting the head on. Here is Midori fully assembled. She really looks so fun and dynamic. To attach Midori to the base, there is a hole on her knee which goes onto the gymnastic bench. There is also a hole on her shoe which goes onto the volleyball at the bottom of the base. I found that this is the best way to assemble Midori. You first attach her to the volleyball and you keep holding onto her other leg so as to support her. You then quickly bring over the bench to the correct position and support Midori's leg as such. From here, it is easier to move the bench to align the peg and the hole, fixing the figure into place. And here is Midori assembled onto the base in the correct position as per the promo pictures. Okay, we're halfway there. Next is Pink, and here is the body sculpt I will be using. There is also a cast-off version of this. Here is one of Pink's legs, and just like Midori, you attach all the legs first. Again, take note of the shape of the joints and attach it as such. It should fit in nicely. Here is her other leg, taking note of the shape of the joint, and it should also fit in nicely. Next, I have her shirt, which also has holes for the joints on the sleeves to pass through. Here is one of Pink's hand and sleeves, and there are indentations on the bench for this hand. And here is her other sleeve without the hand. As mentioned previously, this hand is assembled last in order to put on the twin tails. Just like Midori, you first put on the shirt as such before attaching the hands. Thereafter, you can attach both Pink's hands and sleeves. Again, this sleeve should not be attached with the hand first. Lastly, assembling Pink's head. There are holes on two sides of her head for the twin tails. Her twin tails are very nicely sculpted, and I love the gradient of colors from pink to yellow. First, you attach Pink's head. Take note of the fragile strands at the back, as it is very close and somewhat touching the shirt. Next, attach the twin tails. Take note of how her hair flows around her hands and legs, and be careful because it is very thin and fragile. For her other twin tail, try to find a grip without affecting the first twin tail. It also wraps around her other sleeve and legs, so be careful. And lastly, attach the second hand into the sleeve. Make sure the hand is orientated away from her hair, like so. Once attached, you can then rotate her hand into the correct position. It goes over her hair as such. This is why it is assembled last. Here is Pink fully assembled, and you simply put her onto the bench to complete the figure. And now for the finishing touches. Simply put on the loose accessories however way you want. And voila, here is Midori and Pink fully assembled. By the way, you could also get Midori and Pink separately, and Midori comes with this different water tap base. I wish we got that in this set as an option. Anyway, at 1:5.5 scale, which is such an odd number, the size of this figure is just nice. It's a great scale to see all the details. Zooming in, let's take a look at the base. I really love this diorama setup, reflecting the context of a school gym. The various accessories are sculpted very accurately and also very nicely shaded. I also appreciate the effort that goes into the details of the shoes and socks. Midori's brown shoes are slightly glossy, and the socks have a very nice gradient. I also find it very cute that one of Pink's shoe appears to be falling off. If I were to nitpick, I wish the volleyball had more shading done. But other than that, the rest of the accessories are well shaded, even this bench. Moving up, the body sculpts of Midori and Pink are beautifully sculpted. Midori's pose is very dynamic, and Pink's sitting pose, although simple, reflects how demure she is. I especially love the shading of the blue swimsuits. There are even little details like plasters and little labels on the swimsuits, adding to the detail. On the back, the way Pink's hair and Midori's shirt flows reflects movement, making this figure look dynamic. Also, the clothes, as well as the swimsuits, have wrinkles and folds, adding detail to this figure. Moving up, Midori and Pink's hair are very nicely colored and shaded. I especially love Pink's hair, which is so flowy and pretty. I also love how their contrasting personalities are reflected on their faces. Midori has such an active tomboy look, and Pink is so reserved and shy. They look so perfect together. The color of the hair is very pretty, especially Midori's green hair with yellow highlights. They also sculpted her hair bun accurately, and she has a lovely earring. I especially like her goggles, which look very realistic to me. Pink's hair is also sculpted very accurately, and I love how the gradient changes from pink to yellow. She also has a very funny looking hair clip as an extra detail. And lastly, for their faces, the eye decals are really pretty, and even the mouth is sculpted. I love this detail a lot. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Thanks for staying till the end. If you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!